this video, we're going to do a full body Pilates session, so it's going to be a long session. We're going to cover everything major, so we're going to go through the core, the sideline sequence, so the glutes and our back. So we're going to start off with our all four tabletop positions to warm up the body. So we're inside all four positions, knees hip width apart, hands shoulder apart. So just going to focus on the breathing for the first phase here. Nice deep breath into the nose, long exhales out through the mouth. So just going to practice our deep breathing, bringing our deep breathing back into the nose, out through the mouth. Deep breath into the nose, long exhales out through the mouth. Deep breaths in, long exhales out. So we start off with our arm, opposite leg sequence. So again, when we're trying to move the limbs, we're trying to embrace that core, squeeze the core nice and tight. So again, might someone gently tap you in the stomach or try to embrace that core to help keep the middle part of our body nice and stable, and trying to work through that control motion then of that opposite arm, opposite leg. Starting off with the right hand and left leg. Nice deep breath in. As I breathe out, embrace the core, just going to push the arm and leg out. Breathe in if we can bring hand and knee back together. Touch, exhale, embrace away. So again, as I breathe in, I'm relaxing the core a bit. As the hand and leg comes in towards the center of gravity, I'm trying to brace and squeeze the core and tighten it as the arm and leg goes out, trying to help maintain that nice neutral pelvis and trying to keep the midsection nice and stable as I push away. Breathe in and coming in, exhale as I push and brace the core away. Breathe in, coming in, exhale away. Two more here on this side. From there, as we come back, we're going to return the arm leg back down, reset. Moving to the other side through the breathing, nice deep breath in. As I exhale, bracing the core, pushing that foot back, raising that opposite arm. Inhale again, we come in together and touch. Exhale, trying to squeeze and engage the core as we push away. Breathe in as arm leg comes in. Exhale, brace the core as we push away. Inhale, coming together. Exhale as we engage away. Inhale, coming in. Exhale away. So again, we're trying to keep nice and stable. Breathe in, brace the core as we go away. Taking our time through the sequence. We're not trying to rush this sequence, we're trying to slow everything down just to get more out of the core. Do two more here on the side. Breathe in, coming in. Breathe out away. Breathe in, coming in. Exhale away. From here, we're coming back down, just recover. Core for a couple of seconds, just reset the body. You can sit back in the chair if we need to recover, taking the tension off the wrist joints for a second. And as I come back up, just going to go back into the left arm and right leg sequence. Okay, so we start off with that arm and leg movement again. I'm just going to add a pause at the end. Nice deep breath in. As I exhale, brace the core, pushing that right foot back, the left arm rises. Inhale, still connected. Exhale away. So we're starting to do the first movement again. I'm just going to add a pause in at the end. Exhale away. Inhale, coming together. Exhale away. Inhale, coming together. One more here as you come in, brace that core as we hold, going to try to hold that high position. Focus on that inhale, exhale phase. Every time we exhale, bracing the core, trying to keep everything nice and stable as we breathe in, breathe out. You can make this harder by closing your eyes. If you're struggling with your eyes closed, open them up. The eyes will help with the balance. Inhale, exhale. That's 3, 2, 1. We come back down to reset. Moving across then to the other arm, other leg. Nice deep breath in. As you exhale, bracing that core, we push that arm and leg out again. Breathe in as a hand and come back together. Exhale as we push away. So here we try to flow through that movement. Inhale, coming in. Exhale, push away. Breathe in, coming in. Exhale, push away. Here we try to brace that core. Control the movement, trying to flow through that breathing. One more time as we come in, come away, as we exhale and hold. focus again on breathing that inhale, exhale phase, bracing the core through that exhale, holding that position for a few seconds at the top. And work through that core, work on that stability. That's 3, 2, 1. And we come back and we turn into recovery. A couple of seconds. There, we're coming back out into that all four position. So next we're just going to work a wee bit into our plank sequences. Okay, so again, hands are still hip, shoulders apart, knees are hip width apart starting off. What we're going to do is try to exhale, brace the core into a single leg stance, holding that core position, drop into the knees to recover, and exhale and rise again. If that feels too much, you can hold that half plank position there. So you're going to focus on just dropping the hips in, holding as we breathe in and breathe out. Or if the full plank is enough, you can try and hold that position. So we're just going to hold the full plank for a few seconds before we move into recovery, and then we'll try and advance it there. So nice deep breath in. As we exhale, bracing the core, we push that right foot back into that lengthened position. Breathe in again. As you breathe out, you're going to brace the core, bring yourself into that plank position, tucking the pelvis in, focusing on squeezing the core through that exhale phase. Breathe in, focus on squeezing that core. Again, if that feels too much, we drop to your knees. We still keep that pelvis tucked in. We're going to control and work through the core still with the breathing in that half plank position. You're still going to work the core. If the full plank feels too much, you're going to hold this position for a few seconds. Breathing in, breathing out. That's 3, 2, and 1. Turn yourselves back into your tabletop position, taking the tension off the core. So we're going to do that again. We're going to try and go back into our full plank position. And again, we're trying to go into a single leg lift. So I'll just demonstrate what we're going to try and achieve here. In that full plank position, bracing that core, we're going to squeeze the core as we lift the foot up. Inhale, coming down, exhale, and we switch to the other side. If that feels too much, you're going to go into that half plank position. And again, through that exhale, you're going to try and temporarily bring yourself up to the full plank, squeezing the core, and then bring yourself back into that half plank. Exhale, squeezing the core into that full. Inhale, back in. If the single leg lift is feeling too much. So from that all four position again, nice deep breath in. We're going to extend that right leg back. Breathe in, exhale, extend that left leg back. Again, we're just making sure the pelvis is tucked in. We're feeling that core working. Nice deep breath in. Exhale on the brace. We lift the leg up. Inhale, come back down. Exhale, lift the leg up. Inhale, coming back to the strength. Flow side to side. Just lifting the legs slightly off the ground, trying to still maintain steady hips as we lift. Bracing the core as we lift. Nice control flowing through that motion. Exhale on the rise. Inhale, coming back down. Exhale on the rise. Inhale, coming back down. One more each side if we can. Exhale on that lift. Breathe in. Exhale on that lift. Breathe in and back. Forward recover. Back into your child's pose. Take the tension again off the wrist joints, shoulders for a couple of seconds. From there, then we're just going to come up like that one there. We're going to change ourselves into your side leg sequence. So we work a wee bit into the hip strength and the glute strength next, working ourselves into that side leg. So we're just going to lie the body on the side. As we do so, just try and make sure your hips are nice and stacked forward. So roll those hips forward. I'm going to bend the knees up a bit. I'm going to start off with our oyster here. Opposite hand can support the head, or you can keep the head long, whatever you find more comfortable here. What we're looking to do is keep the feet connected through this movement. As you see, they start off and splitting the knees apart. We're trying to keep the hips nice and stacked and square forward, so we're just going to exhale and lift the knees apart. And you should feel a tension point here, then the gluteus medius, where we want to target, and a little bit of the hip muscles, and then back down to recovery. What we're trying not to do is trying to push beyond that, so if you go too far, your hips will automatically try to open up just to compensate, and then you'll lose the movement. So keep an eye on your hips here, make sure they don't roll back. We're just doing a small movement through that breath out phase, breathe in, coming back down, and just try and keep the feet connected. Do this first bit. So, nice deep breath in if we're ready. As we breathe out, we split the knees apart. Breathe in, coming back in. Exhale, coming out. Inhale, coming back in. So as we work through this movement, you're going to feel it here in a few seconds inside of the glute muscles, the gluteus medius, and here. That's where we want to target. So those hips stay nice and square, and roll forward. Knees are coming apart, you feel that tension point, and then recover and relax as we go back down. So as we exhale, we lift, squeeze to the top, recover as we come back down. Keeping the tension on that side, on that lift, on that recovery. I'm just going to keep the feet together for this phase, coming back down. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Do 2 more here as we breathe out on that lift. Inhale, coming back. Exhale on that lift. Inhale, coming back. As we come back down to recover, we're going to lengthen that leg out. We're going to bring that bottom leg back. Keeping the knees in line here. Keeping that bottom leg down at 90 degrees to make this one a little bit easier. You can bring the 2 legs long to advance this if you want in their harder phase. We're going to try and flow through the next 3 movements now on the leg. So we start off that leg lift. Nice deep breath in. As we exhale, we lift the leg up, and as we float it back down on that recovery. So you're just trying to lift the leg up and down. Still targeting the side of the hip. So again, the hips are still rolled forward, nice and square. You should still start to feel this area working after a few reps in that gluteus medius area, which again is good, important to work through that muscle group. This helps balances our bodies as we walk and stuff like that, or on any single leg sequence. If you're in the gym training, this here exercise can help with that stability. So just exhale on lift, inhale and coming back down. You flow on that leg lift. And again, you can return to recover if you want, that foot on the ground, if you need a recovery at any time. A couple more reps here now on that lift. And then as we come back down, we're going to pause to halfway one. If we try and draw the line, so we imagine our foot's on an invisible table now. As we breathe in, just bring that leg forward. Exhale, bringing it back towards that starting point. So just try and bringing it forward, try and keep that leg nice and steady, and then coming back. So again, if you imagine there's a string pulling that leg forward, a nice straight line, and then just gently bringing it back. Again, we're going nice and slow, nice and controlled through the sequence. Trying to use the muscle now to keep the leg nice and still at that lifting point as we bring it forward, as we bring it back. Breathe in, breathe out. Try and breathe through this with a couple more reps here on that line sequence. So bring it forward, bringing it back. One more time here as we bring it forward, bringing it back on that hold. And from here, then we're just going to bring it up a little bit higher, and we'll try low circles now with the foot. So you try and draw the circle with the foot all the way right into the hip. Still keep the hips nice and square. Slow control on the circles. The bigger the circle, the harder it's going to be as you work the leg through a more range of motion. But we try and go slow with this one here. We're just trying to go control all the way through that circle. Last couple of reps here on this side. That's 3, 2, and 1. And we rest, and we can tap that out if we want. Shake it out if you need. And we're just going to go to the other side now. So as we turn ourselves to the other side, we're going to start off with that oyster exercise again. So again, making sure the hips are nice and stacked, everything nice and square. We bend the knees up again. Knees are nice and stacked, feet are nice and stacked. We're just going to keep the feet together, and again, split the knees apart through the breathing, but make sure we keep the hips nice and forward, that they don't roll back as we lift. So if we're ready on this side, nice deep breath in. As we exhale, we split the knees apart. Inhale, coming back in. Exhale, knees come apart. Inhale, coming back in. Again, we're just trying to work now through the other side of that hip area, with our glutes and hip muscles. We're trying to keep everything nice and stable from the hips. So we split the knees apart into that tension point, and then relax it at the bottom. Squeeze in through that exhale, release and recover at the bottom. I'm just trying to keep the focus on that side of the hip, on the lift, on the recovery. On the lift, on the recovery. A couple more reps here. Then as we come back down, we're going to go again into that lengthen phase. So bring that leg out nice and straight. Bringing that bottom leg back, that 90 degrees phase, or again, you can keep the 2 legs long to make this one harder. So flow through our 3 movements again. So again, we're going to that leg lift, nice deep breath in. On the exhale, we lift. Inhale, coming back in. Exhale, we lift. Inhale on the return. So again, we're just nice and steady. Working to that side of the hip, that opposite side. Still trying to target this area. Making sure the hips stay nice and squared as we lift and control on the way down. Still recover every rep if you want. Bring that foot all the way down to the ground, giving yourself a wee pause if you need, or you can keep that foot hovering so you're keeping the muscle working. It depends where you are, with where your hip strength is, and just trying to listen to your body and see how you can go. A couple more reps here on the lift. Again, as we come back down, so we pause at the stage. So again, we're going to go into a draw the line sequence. As we breathe in, we're going forward, exhale as we come back. So again, we're staying everything nice and stable. Coming forward, just get as far as you can, as far as your range of motion is allowed, and then back in to recover. Breathe in, coming forward, exhale, coming back. Breathe in, coming forward, exhale, coming back. It's nice and steady. Inhale, coming forward, exhale on the way back. Nice and stable. Try to keep the leg best we can in the same line. Last couple of reps here. That sequence. And then as we come back in a little bit higher, we're just working under a circle as the bicep stage line sequence off. So again, trying to go through control again on the hips. Working all the way around. Get big the circle, the harder it's going to be. Smaller should be easier. But we're nearly there through the sequence. We're just going the last couple of reps here. That's 3, 2, and 1 as we rest. Again, we get half that side out. We can bring it in. We gently bring ourselves around into our lying position with the back. We'll just quickly stretch this out. So as we lie down, we're going to bring that right leg across the left knee, and then lift that left foot up if you feel comfortable. Stretch that right side out, or we can just leave it sitting here if that feels enough. If that feels enough in the hip, hold there. But if you want now, we're going to lift and hold that stretch for a couple of seconds. So we stretch here for the side of the hip muscles and the glutes as well. It allows us to stretch it out any tightness. From here, so we gently bring that foot back down, cover, switch over that left leg across the right, move yourself then into that lift position and in, stretching that out. Again, we can keep the leg up, or we can keep the toes on the ground or foot on the mat, whatever you feel more comfortable. Just in the stretch, no further rotating or anything. 3, 2, and 1. Just release. The legs relax out for a second or two. Stretching the hips out and recover. From here, we're just going to move a wee bit into your core now. So we're going to move into your supine movements. We start off with our single leg taps just to warm up the core, and we'll work through and try and flow through these movements here. So, in this position, lying position, we're going to bring our legs up 90 degrees. We're looking for in that rolled up position here. If you bring your head up off the mat, you make these exercises harder. But you can keep the head on the ground just to make it a little bit easier, where we find comfortable. What we're doing here is just trying to focus on bracing the core as we tap the foot on the ground. So it's a nice deep breath in. As you breathe out, try and brace and squeeze the core as I drop my right toes down towards the ground. Release and recover the core as we bring it back up. Then we brace the core as we push that left foot down. Release and recover it, come back up. So just a nice little exercise just to try and focus on core engagements. You try learn to switch on the core as we drop the foot down, release it as we come back up. So the more we do over time, the easier it should be to switch on the core, and the faster your core should switch on, the more core exercises we do, and the more you understand our core breathing and stuff like that there. So, nice deep breath in. As I breathe out, I'm trying to brace the core. So again, imagine someone about to tap me in the stomach. That help brace the core, and then I drop my right foot down onto the ground. Release and recover the core as you bring it back up to that inhale phase. So as I breathe out, I'm squeezing and tensing the core as I drop the left foot down. Breathing in to recover as it comes back up. As I exhale, I squeeze as I drop the right foot down. Recover as I come back up. And it's going to be nice, controlled. Nice and slow to allow yourself a chance to fully engage and squeeze the core muscles. If you go too fast, you may not have a chance to switch it on before you bring it back up. So take your time on that foot drop, squeeze in, release and recover as it comes back up. Squeeze the core as you drop down, recover as you come back up. Squeeze as we come down, recover as we come back up. We'll do one more on the left, squeeze and recover as we come back up. From here, we're going to hug the knees in, allows us to switch off the core, take some tension off the front of the hip muscles of the legs. That might feel a bit of strain as well as we move through these leg movements for the core. So next one, we're going to try and do a single leg stretch. Okay, so from this position, we're going to keep the left leg hugged in, We're going to allow the right leg now to be stretched out in that straight position. You can keep the leg up, or you can bring the leg on the ground to make this one easier if you want. It's up to you to see how you feel. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. As I breathe out now, I'm going to brace and squeeze that core, and I'm going to gently switch my legs. Right knee comes in, left leg is extended out. Once that's there, I take a breath in to relax again, and as I breathe out again, I brace the core, squeeze in, and I switch back into my original position. So every time we switch the leg here, we're trying to squeeze the core, getting deep into the core muscles, and we'll give yourself a recovery as the new knee comes in towards the body. Squeeze the core on that switch. So if we're ready now, take a nice deep breath in. As you breathe out again, try and imagine someone's tapping the stomach and brace that core as you switch and bring that right knee in towards the body. Breathe in again, breathe out, squeeze the core as we switch for that left leg. Again, extend the leg can be staying off the ground, or you can let it rest on the ground if you want, if you find it a little bit easier. The focus here is trying to brace and squeeze the core as you go into that leg switch. Breathe in once you have the new leg, breathe out, brace the core, and switch. Breathe in, breathe out, brace the core, and switch. One more here. As you come in, just relax the leg up. Two legs fall on the ground to recover for a couple of seconds. The body recovers. So next one, we're going to go into our death bug, just to try and bring a little bit of coordination into it. Again, we're going to take our time through this exercise. The aim is to brace the core as we extend the limbs away from the body. But try and go nice and slow here, just to give yourself a chance, because it can be tricky with arm and leg coordination. So the starting point is bringing the legs up at 90 degrees again, and this one we're going to bring our hands up straight above our heads. Take a nice deep breath in. As I breathe in, I'm going to brace and squeeze that core as I push that right arm over the head, and I'm going to push that opposite leg out. So at this point here, I'm squeezing the core nice and tight as my arms are extended away, trying to push away from my body. Breathe in as I bring them back in together for a pause. And when I breathe out again, I just do that opposite movement. That left arm is stretched out, right leg is stretched out, squeezing the core at full extension. Breathe in, coming back in. So what we're looking to do here is I move one arm, one leg, the opposite arm, opposite legs, nice and stable, nice and still, so they don't move. So it's not like a saw in motion on both sides. We're just trying to use our coordination, working one arm, one leg, with the other arm, other legs nice and paused. So in this position, take your time, nice deep breath in. As you breathe out, brace the core first, push that right arm over the head, push that left leg away, squeeze the core as full extended. Breathe in as you bring them back together. Breathe out, brace the core when you're ready, pushing that left hand over, right leg is pushed away, squeeze through that full extension on the core and come back in. So the focus is really not trying to stretch the arm, leg out away, we're just more or less letting them fall away from the body and push and squeeze the core. So the core is always the focus here. You're trying to keep the core nice and tight as the arm and leg just stretches out its natural position. We're not trying to force the arm and leg away, we're trying to gently let them extend, but try and focus on squeezing the core and then bring it back in. Brace the core and squeeze as they go out, breathe in as they come back in. And again, we're just moving one arm, one leg at a time. The opposite arm, opposite leg to stay nice and stable, nice control. One more each side here as they brace the core away. Breathe in, coming back in. Brace the core away. Breathe in, coming back in. Just come back in to recover that core for a couple of seconds. Relaxing through the hips, relaxing the body. Good, so our last one on the core here, we'll try it into our 100s, okay? So our 100 setup is all about trying to work on our breathing, try and squeeze the core through this, till that exhale phase as we try and pulse the arms nice and fast by holding into a hollow hold position. So as I demonstrate here, what we're going to do is bring our legs 90 degrees. We're trying to bring our head up for this one, gazing between the legs to help keep the tension off your neck. Arms are going to come up, and then we're trying little fast beats with the hands as we focus as we breathe in and breathe out. And again, every time we breathe out, trying to embrace the core, might someone's gently tapping in the stomach. Breathe in, breathe out as we try and continuously pulse the arms. If that feels too much, you can keep the head down, a little bit easier, and you can keep the arm pulses out if it feels a lot too much information. Just focus on squeezing the core to that inhale, exhale phase by keeping the legs nice and still. So again, we can build into it, see how it feels over time. As you get more comfortable engaging the core, it'll become a little bit easier and easier to go into more advanced movements. So in our lying position now, take a nice deep breath in. As we breathe out, just bring the legs up at 90 degrees. Breathe out again. As we breathe out, try and lift that head and arms up. Breathe in again, and this time as we breathe out, try and pulse through the arms and squeeze the core. So we breathe in, breathe out, squeezing the core. Breathe in, breathe out, squeezing the core. So again, just nice little fast beats and pulses as we breathe in, breathe out. Exhale and squeezing the core. Inhale, recover. Exhale, focus on that core squeezed. Breathe in, breathe out. So every time we breathe out, mind someone gently tapping the stomach, try and brace that core. Fast little pulses with the hands if we can. Imagine there's 2 bottles of water outside, splash the water. If that feels too much, you can pause the arms. Just focus on the inhale, exhale phase, squeezing the core through that breath out. Breathe in, breathe out. Try to keep breathing through the sequence. Focus on that core through that exhale phase. That's 3, 2, and 1. So turn and recover. Release the legs, recover the body. Good. So moving on to our next sequence, we're going to go into our mobility phase. So we're going to focus primarily on our, mostly on our back muscles. And this one here, so we're going to try and stretch, mobilize through our spine with this here next sequence, okay? So in this position here, we start off with that a little bit of the chest as well and shoulder, and move it into the lower back. We're going to bring our legs up at 90 degrees, and we're just bring our hands up, and then we're going to gently bring ourselves to our right side. So we're just going to roll over till that right leg and right arm is on the mat. Once we're here, just making sure the legs nice and stacked, arms out. Nice deep breath in. As we exhale, try and bring that left shoulder down towards the mat. Inhale, coming back in. So what we're trying to do here is just trying to open up a wee bit of the chest, upper back and shoulder. So a little bit of the lower back. We're trying not to force anything. So we're aiming to try and get that left shoulder on the mat or as close as we can while keeping the knees nice and stacked. So our knees aren't allowed to come apart here in this one. So if you force it too much, your knees will come apart, but we're trying to keep the knees together to keep that stretch area, and we're trying to open the chest out and into that shoulder area as well. Every time come out and in. So little movements away from the body and then come back in. Do 2 more on this side. Last one here. Good. As we come back in, we're going to gently change our position. So dropping over to that other side. So again, on that other side, arms are lengthened. We just open it out away, and then gently coming back in. Again, not trying to force anything, just open it away and come back in. So again, the aim is trying to get that opposite shoulder on the mat, still keep the knees in that 90 degrees position, nice and stacked together. Just into that stretch and then back in. So again, you'll fingers across the chest, into the shoulder and upper back as you go away and come back in. Head and hand falls together if you can. 2 more here on this side. Last one, open it out, and then again as you come back in, just gently bring that back on the mat, relaxing the head and neck. So from here, just going to focus a little bit on the lower back. We're just going to bring our knees up, we're going to hug the knees, and we're trying to do little circles with the knees, focusing on the lower back. So as you draw the circles with the knees, you should feel that lower back area working, get the stretch, and just nice control on the circles, any direction you want. Trying to control and focus on that lower back. Hugging the knees in, drawing those circles. And that's 3, 2, and 1. From here, then we're just going to release, cover, relax, well done. So we're going to change our position again now. We're going to go back into our very starting position, our all 4 position. So we're gently come up out of the mat and bring ourselves right around into that all 4 position. So from here, we're just going to work ourselves in that thread the needle sequence. We're just going to change positions. So for this position, we're going to work through that right arm first. So we breathe in, we're going to bring that right arm straight underneath, and then you're going to open up away. Come in underneath, open up, away. Into that stretch every time. In underneath, open up, away. In underneath, open up, away. So here we're trying to focus on the upper back here and shoulder area with this one. You get a little bit of the chest as well. Head and arms moving together, so we're trying to work through the torso as well into that stretch. One more time on this side. As we come back down, just recover. Moving across that other side now, arms lengthened, and we'll open up away to the other side. Coming in underneath, opening up, away. Again, we're trying to go into the stretch as far as you can, not trying to force anything, we're trying to work through that back mobility and shoulder mobility here. Just going as far as the range of motion can take us. The more we do with this one here, if I tighten this area, this will help open that area up. Away again, two more here on the side. And last one. Good. As we return all four positions, working through the upper and lower back. Next, we're going to go into our cat camel. So this one here, we're trying to keep the limbs nice and stable, so arms are nice and locked into the legs. We're trying to work through that spine. First one, we're going to try to work through the upper back. So again, we're going to tuck the head and hips in here as you drive between the shoulder blades up towards the roof. Do you feel that stretch in between the shoulder blades? Hold them for a second or two. And then we'll gently change position on the mat, bringing that back push down towards the ground as we bring head and hips on. Head and hips up the way. So as you push down, when you're trying to push just above the hips down towards the mat, you feel that lower back stretch. Bringing the head and chest up as well will get further into that stretch. Again, we're just trying to go to the stretch point no further. Hold for a second or two and we work again into that upper back. So again, upper back is even pushing between the shoulders up towards the roof. Tuck the head and hips in. And then as you go down, you look for the lower back. Then take the lead, pushing that down towards the ground as you bring the head and hips up the way. Open out that chest a bit as well to get further into that lower back stretch. And then back into that upper back stretch. And then back into that lower back stretch. A couple more stretches here to that upper and lower back. Here back into your neutral. So I'm just going to go back into your chest pose. Arms are pushing away, nice and lengthened. And again, it's going to go for the side back muscles, the lats. We're going to walk hands across that left hand side. So you feel that stretch under the right arm. We're going to hold that stretch for a couple of seconds. We're just walking across to that stretch point. We're going to pause and hold that stretch on that side of the back. And from there, walking back into your center point. Walking across that other side, feeling the stretch under that opposite arm, and you hold that stretch for a couple of seconds. And back into our center point, stretching the arms away, trying to get deeper into the mat as we sit back. So again, the child's pose, great stretch for that lower back area, upper back, the whole body and the back. Then again, we're just trying to go into the stretch a little further. Hold them for the last 3, 2 and 1. We'll come back out of that one, and that is our session complete.